And joining me now is our political panel, Democratic strategist Reese Colbert and GOP strategist Tony Delgado. Thanks, you guys, for being here today. Tony, I want to start with you. We've got a New York Times Siena poll that finds 66% of people would describe Trump's second term as chaotic. So we've been talking about these different meetings. We're talking about what happened at the Pope's funeral today. Are Republicans concerned about what's going on here? How do you see it?
Well, I think we should have expected the restoration of democracy to be chaotic. For the last 4 years under the previous administration, we had a president who was a puppet, who had dementia, and we had no idea who was actually running the country. So Trump is coming into a hostile situation. He's trying to reclaim the reins of power, and so many things are dysfunctional in the White House that, yes, there is going to be a lot of chaos as he's cleaning up that mess.
Okay, Reese, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that before I get on to I was going to ask you if you think Democrats are doing enough to meet the moment that we're at right now, but what do you have to say about what Tony just mentioned?
Well, I don't know if this is April Fool's Day. I thought it was April 26th because this administration is absolutely not restoring democracy. They just arrested a judge in Wisconsin yesterday. And so they have lost battle after battle, including up to the Supreme Court, because they have overreached and they are doing the opposite of what democracy is. In fact, he's fulfilling his pledge to be a dictator on day one.
Well, you know, Tony, Trump and Zelensky met privately in Rome during Pope Francis's funeral, as we saw. I don't know if we could put that picture up again or the video. It's been a top talker for us today. And as we take a look at what took place at the Pope's funeral, I don't know how private it was. I mean, it was aside from the public, but obviously there were cameras there and we saw it. You know, I want to get your reaction, both of you, to what happened there today. Tony, what does this say anything about what Biden was unable to achieve? And Reese, the same to you.
Well, when Trump had their first meeting in the White House with Zelensky, we saw Zelensky getting very upset. We saw him being very argumentative, right? And the fact of the matter is the United States has given Ukraine over $180 billion for this war. And it is time that the war comes to an end. There is not only a financial cost, but there's also a cost of life, right? Thousands and thousands of people are dying on both sides. So I think that Zelensky needs to take a glass of humble tea and come to the negotiation table and put a final end to this war.
Reese, what do you say on that?
Well, first, a lot of that money to Ukraine actually went to U.S. defense contractors. But I will say I'm relieved that the frat boys weren't around Donald Trump this time. So it seems like he was a little more serious and sober and acknowledging that Vladimir Putin is very unserious about ending this war in Ukraine. And so to the extent that he's come to reality about the fact that Putin is not our ally and not Ukraine's ally, I think that's a good development.
You know, President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, wrapping up a third round of nuclear negotiations with Iran today. So another huge meeting. So why is Witkoff working on these tough diplomatic talks instead of State Secretary Rubio? Tony?
Well, I think this conflict is very, very complicated. And we've tried, right? We've tried to negotiate with Zelensky. A lot of those negotiations fell on deaf ears. So Trump is doing what he does as a businessman and pulling out all the stops and trying to get the whole team on this to put an end to this war.
Reese, what do you say? Is this the best person for the job?
I don't know if there is a best person in the Trump administration, but we know that Secretary Rubio is too busy chasing students' visas and trying to eliminate due process in the immigration war. So that's probably why he's a little bit too busy to do the actual serious work of negotiations with Iran. But we're back at square one, not even what the Obama administration had successfully executed. So I hope that they can at least do something in this administration.
All right, I'm going to ask Tammy Bruce about that tomorrow. State Department spokesperson, she's going to be on, and I'll play this clip for her so she can listen to that, and we'll see what she has to say. Democratic strategist Reese Colbert and GOP strategist Tony Delgado, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon. And we do